Hi, I am Dr. Vijendra Pakra. I am a medical physiologist and I am here with my new video tutorial channel which is about medical subjects, especially medical physiology. So please like, share and subscribe my channel for new updates. Thank you. Hello everyone, we are going to start a new topic today, that is the respiratory system. As you know that respiratory system is very important system of our body. By means of this only we are able to take oxygen from the environment inside the body and different metabolites like CO2 which is produced inside the body due to various reactions that is expelled out of body. Okay, so we start with this the definition of respiratory system. By definition, it is a process. By definition, it is a process of intake of gas from the environment, the gas which is required for every reaction, that is oxygen, that is taken up by the body. So it is the process of taking oxygen from the environment and removing carbon dioxide from the body. Okay, so it is the process of taking oxygen from atmosphere and removing CO2 from body. Okay, by definition, it is a process of taking oxygen from atmosphere and removing CO2 from body. CO2 is evolved from different reaction in the body. So it is by definition process of taking CO2 from environment and removing, it is a process of taking oxygen from environment and removing carbon dioxide from the body. Okay, and we will there are different stages of respiration. By stages we can divide it in 4 stages. First is ventilation. Ventilation stage. It is the intake of oxygen from the atmosphere by pulmonary capillary. It is called ventilation. Ventilation stage is intake of oxygen to the lung by pulmonary capillaries. Okay, by pulmonary capillaries, taking of oxygen into the lung by pulmonary capillary, it is called ventilation. Okay, second stage in respiration is transport. Okay, transport stage is when oxygen is taken up by the lung and it is transported to the particular cell, that is called transport stage. Okay, from lung to the tissue, from lung to the tissue, it is called transport stage. Okay, ventilation, it is by ventilation oxygen is taken up by the lung through pulmonary capillaries. Then transport stage, in which lung is the oxygen which is present in the lung is carried to the tissue, that is called transport stage. Third is exchange. Exchange stage. In this stage, what happened? The blood which carries oxygen to the tissue is exchanged at the level of tissue. At the level of tissue, this is the oxygen, and this is tissue, and it goes inside the tissue. Okay, this is tissue. Okay, this is the exchange of gas. Exchange of gas. Oxygen is taken up by the tissue and CO2 is removed in the blood. and CO2 which is involved in the tissue is removed in the blood. That is the exchange stage. Okay. 3 stages: ventilation stage, transport stage, and exchange stage. Fourth one is tissue stage. Tissue stage in which the oxygen which is present or taken up by the cell, the oxygen which is taken up by the cell take part in different type of reactions inside the cell. That's called tissue stage, and it is also known as a internal respiration. It is also known as the internal respiration. Means the tissue is taken up by the cell and it take parts in different chemical reactions and for the production of energy and all type of reaction which is mediated by the oxygen is carried inside the cell, and all these processes together called tissue stage or internal respiration. Okay. Now next, these are the stages: ventilation, transport, exchange, and tissue stages. Fourth one we see, that is the component of respiratory system. The component of respiratory system, this is the, as we know, the respiratory system component start with the external nares, external nares, the nasal cavity, then pharynx, larynx, then trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles. Okay, so in component we will see the component first is nose. First component is nose. Okay, this is the first component, that is nose. Second, pharynx, and this pharynx, if we can divide this pharynx in three parts. First is nasopharynx, oropharynx, and hypopharynx or laryngopharynx. Okay, so first component is nose, second is pharynx, third is this larynx, fourth component is trachea. This is trachea. Okay, fifth component bronchi. There are two bronchi, left and right bronchi, which goes inside the lung. Okay, so these are the bronchi. First nose, second this is pharynx, larynx, trachea, fourth one is trachea. Then fifth bronchi, and sixth, that is bronchioles. Bronchioles are the further smaller branching of this trachea. It is bronchiole, then ultimately it goes to the alveoli. These are the bronchioles, and second one alveoli. Okay, this is the functional unit of respiratory system, that is called alveoli. So these are the components of respiratory system. Components: nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and alveoli. Okay, and these components are divided in two parts. Okay, this is the vocal larynx. From external nares to the vocal cord, it is upper respiratory tract, and from the vocal cord to the alveoli, it is lower respiratory tract. Upper respiratory tract. Okay, up to this vocal cord, then from vocal cord to the alveoli, it is lower respiratory tract. Okay, it has been divided in two parts: upper respiratory tract and lower respiratory tract. Next, upper respiratory tract. Upper respiratory tract start with the external nares. This is the external nares. Okay, and this is the external nares. It starts with the external nares up to the vocal cord. Upper respiratory tract is extend from external nares to the vocal cord. Okay, and it includes nasal cavity, and these are the pharynx, which has been divided in nasopharynx. It is the area which extends from the posterior part of nares to the soft palate. Okay, this is the soft palate. Posterior part of the nail is to the soft palate. This is called nasopharynx. This nasopharynx is located behind the nasal cavity. Okay, nasopharynx, and eustachian tube also opens in this nasopharynx. Okay, then the next area start with the oropharynx. That is it is present behind the mouth. Okay, and it is from the behind the mouth to up to the level of hyoid bone. It is called oropharynx. Okay, because it is present behind the mouth, that is why it is called oropharynx. Then hypopharynx. Hypopharynx is the area which start from the level of hyoid bone to the this vocal cord, or if vocal cord it extends to the esophagus just at the level of this vocal cord. So it is called hypopharynx or laryngopharynx. Okay, so these are the divisions of upper respiratory tract. In upper respiratory tract, you are seeing these bulges in the nasal cavity. These are called turbinates. These are called turbinates. Okay, so these are the openings of different type of paranasal sinuses. Paranasal sinuses are air-filled bony cavity which opens in the turbinates. Okay, so these are the through the ostia, the paranasal sinuses opens in this turbinates. Okay, and the function of this turbinates is the turbinate is meant for, first of all, it provides a nasal resonance to the voice. Second, it gives opening for the paranasal sinuses, and it gives larger surface area in the nasal cavity. Okay, and this whole upper respiratory tract is meant for the conditioning of inhaled air. The main function of this upper respiratory tract is conditioning of inhaled air. Air is inhaled here and conditioning is done up to this vocal cord. Conditioning means humidification and warming of air is done through this upper respiratory tract. Okay. Next, we will see lower respiratory tract. Lower respiratory tract start with the trachea. This is the trachea. Okay, this portion is vocal cord, and here trachea starts. In trachea, it is made up of cartilage, and serous and mucous glands are also there, and smooth muscles are there. But the percentage of cartilage is more in trachea, and it decreases when it goes lower or decreases up to the alveoli. Okay, so trachea, more percentage of cartilage is there, and certain type of serous and mucous glands are there, and smooth muscles are also there, but the percentage of smooth muscle is less. When you go deeper branching, the percentage of smooth muscle increases and the percentage of cartilage decreases. Okay, and this starts with the trachea, and these are the bronchi. This is the right bronchi, right bronchus, and this is left bronchus. This is the left bronchus. Okay, left bronchus. There is two ramifications of trachea is present, and it further divides and smaller diameter and narrower diameter and smaller structures. Okay, and the branching start if we number the branching. Okay, if we number the branching, trachea will be 0. It is the 0 branching, 0 number of branching. Then this bronchus is containing number 1 branching or generation, and these further goes branching and up till this alveoli, it branches up to 23rd generation. 23rd times they branch in smaller numbers, in smaller diameter structures. Okay, so trachea is the first one. If we take trachea is of 0 branching, and this bronchus as the first branching, it will further continuously branches in smaller diameter duct, and ultimately this 23rd branching is known as an alveolus. Okay, which is the functional unit of respiration means air exchange takes place at this stages, at this structure. Okay. Now tracheobronchial tree, this whole branching of trachea up till this alveoli, it is called tracheobronchial tree. This is the tracheobronchial tree. Okay, this is trachea. These are the it is the main component of trachea is the cartilage. Then it goes. This is the bronchus. This is trachea. This is bronchus, and this further branching takes place, and this further branches as a bronchioles. Okay, bronchiole, and these bronchioles are of two types: terminal bronchiole and respiratory bronchiole. And from this respiratory bronchiole, alveolar ducts. These are the this is zero generation, this is first generation, and up till 16 generation. It is bronchiole. Up till 16 generation is the bronchiole, which is terminal bronchiole. Terminal bronchiole up to 16, and from 17th generation is the respiratory bronchiole. Respiratory bronchioles. Okay, and this is the demarcation where up till this 16th generation it is called conducting zone, and after this 17th generation gaseous exchange started. Okay, so respiratory bronchioles, this is the bronchioles, and these are the terminal bronchioles, then these are the respiratory bronchioles, and these are the alveolar duct which ultimately ends in alveolus. Okay, this is the alveolus. Okay, there are 300 millions of alveoli in both the lungs. Okay, and if we take their surface area, it is 50 to 100 meter square. It is 50 to 100 meter square. The surface area of alveoli present in the lung is 50 to 100 meter square, which is almost it is equal to the size of a tennis court. Okay, so it is also known as a longest biological membrane. It is the longest biological membrane inside our body. That is called, which is present as an alveolar membrane. Okay. Now we will see in the next slide the generation of different type of different generation in the tracheobronchial tree. As we see, this tracheobronchial tree start with the trachea. The number is 0. Okay, and when it divides in two bronchi, it is called generation 1, and this further goes on ramification up to this bronchioles. In bronchioles, cartilages are present up to this 10th generation of tracheobronchial tree. After that, cartilages are absent, and percentage of smooth muscle increases after this 10th number. Cartilages are present up to this 10th generation. Just remember, this cartilage which is present in the trachea is present up to this 10th generation. After that, smooth muscle composition is increasing in percentage. Okay, then this is the terminal bronchioles up to this terminal bronchioles 16th generation. After that, bronchioles are present, that is known as a respiratory bronchioles. Why it is called respiratory bronchioles? Because gaseous exchange starts at this level. This is the alveoli are budding off of bronchioles. These are the alveoli which is budding off of bronchioles, and they start gaseous exchange at this level. So by knowing this tracheobronchial tree, we can divide this tracheobronchial tree in two groups. First is conducting zone, second is respiratory zone. Two groups. First is conducting zone, second is respiratory zone. Okay. Conducting zone, in this conducting zone only conditioning of inhaled air is taken place. While in respiratory zone, gaseous exchange takes place, and we start with the 17th generation, that is called respiratory bronchiole, up to this alveoli, which is the uh, final generation, 23rd generation, and it is the site of gaseous exchange. Okay, it is the site of gaseous exchange, and if we see the diameter of it is 75 to 300 micrometer. The diameter of one alveoli may be 75 to 300 micrometer. So it gives a bigger surface area for the gaseous exchange. Okay. So the role of tracheobronchial tree is, it has been divided in two zones, conducting zone and respiratory zone. This conducting zone is for conditioning of inhaled air, and this respiratory zone is for exchange of gases. Okay, and from this up to this 16th generation, and from external nares to the 16th generation of tracheobronchial T, it is called anatomic dead space. Anatomic dead space. It is called anatomic dead space. Up to 16th generation plus URT, upper respiratory tract, and see this 16th generation, it is called anatomic dead space. This is called, up to this position it is called anatomic dead space, because respiration is not taking place at this space. That is why it is called anatomic dead space. Only conditioning of inhaled air is taking place at this level. Okay. Now, next slide we will see. This is the histological picture of a alveolus or alveolo-capillary membrane. Okay, inside the alveolus, this portion is called alveolus. This is the air-filled space which is bounded by different type of cells, is called alveolus. And if we see, there are two type of pneumonocytes. Pneumonocytes means lung parenchymal cells. Type 1 lung parenchymal cells, which is flattened. These are the flat type of cells which forms alveolo-capillary membrane. The main function of these pneumonocytes, one is to form alveolo-capillary membrane. Okay, it forms the membrane. Second type of cell, it is somewhat it is not flattened, and the main function of this second type of pneumonocyte is to produce surfactants. Okay, it produces surfactant. It produces surfactant which is important for lower surface tension inside the alveoli. This surfactant is important for the lower surface tension inside the alveoli. Okay, so there are two types of pneumonocytes. One which mainly forms the alveolo-capillary membrane. Second type of cell is type 2 type of pneumonocyte which produces surfactant. Okay, if we see this in figure, schematic in diagram, then these are the alveolar cells. Okay, they are the air-filled cells, and this is type 1 type of pneumonocyte. This is type 1 type of pneumonocytes which is having this type of feature. Squamous cell and extremely thin, covers 95% of alveolar cells. It covers 95% of alveolar cells. You can see it covers 95% of alveolar cells. Okay, and involved in gas exchange. It is involved in gas exchange. Second type of cell, this is the type 2 pneumonocytes. This is the type 2 pneumonocytes. You can see here, this is the type 2 pneumonocyte, which produces, it is granular and roughly cuboidal. It is granular and roughly cuboidal and covers only 5% of the alveolar surface and secretes pulmonary surfactant. It is the site of secreting pulmonary surfactant. Okay, and apart from this, the lung parenchyma cells also having macrophages. You can see these are the macrophages. These are the macrophages are there, plasma cells are there, and mast cells are there. Okay, these lung parenchyma cells also having lung macrophages, mast cells, which take part in defense mechanism. Okay, which if the upper respiratory tract, the size of particle which can enter inside the alveoli is 2 micrometer. Okay, if two only the particle size less than 2 micrometer enters this lung parenchyma, this is engulfed or phagocytosed by this macrophages. Okay, and 2 to 10 micrometer size of bacteria or foreign particles are trapped or entrapped by upper respiratory tract. Okay, upper respiratory tract up to the in that tract it is a lining of mucus also, which traps the particle up to 2 to 10 micrometer in diameter, and if it goes inside the alveolar sac, it is engulfed by the macrophage present in the renal parenchyma cells. Okay, we have seen two types of pneumonocytes. Then the nerve innervation of lung. Okay, it has 3 types of nerve innervation. First is sympathetic nerve innervation and parasympathetic nerve innervation, and there is another type of nerve innervation that involve non-cholinergic and non-adrenergic type of nerve innervation. Okay, in parasympathetic nerve innervation, it causes bronchoconstriction. This parasympathetic nerve causes bronchoconstriction, which is mediated by M2 receptor, that is muscarinic receptor. M2 receptor present in the lung, that is muscarinic receptor, that mediates bronchoconstriction in parasympathetic stimulation. Okay, and there is another type of innervation, that is sympathetic stimulation. In which this sympathetic stimulation, beta 2 receptor is there, which causes bronchodilation. Okay, bronchodilation. So parasympathetic nerve bronchoconstriction mediated by M2 receptor, muscarinic receptor. Sympathetic nerve, that is, it causes bronchodilation mediated by this beta 2 receptor. Okay, apart from this, there is another type of nerve innervation, that is noradrenergic, norcholinergic type of innervation, that causes noradrenergic, norcholinergic fiber, that causes bronchodilation, which is mediated by VIP, vasoactive intestinal peptide. Okay, this VIP. So there are 3 types of parasympathetic, sympathetic, and third is noradrenergic, norcholinergic fiber. This sympathetic, parasympathetic nerve causes vasoconstriction, sympathetic, and the third type, non-adrenergic, norcholinergic fiber, which is mediated by the VIP, causes bronchodilation. The circulation, pulmonary circulation. In pulmonary circulation, this is the right atrium, where venous blood are coming from the different cells, inferior vena cava and superior vena cava, it drains in the right atrium, and it goes to the right ventricle, and whole the blood is pumped in the through this right pulmonary artery to the two different lung, right and left lung. Okay, and through two pulmonary vein from each lung, it goes to the left atrium, this left atrium, and from this left atrium it goes to the left ventricle, and it is pumped in a through this aorta to the systemic circulation. Okay, so the blood from different, this venous blood coming from the different part to the right atrium, and it is pumped to the this right ventricle, and from the right ventricle it goes to the right and left lung through right pulmonary artery and the left pulmonary artery. Then oxygenation of blood is taking place in the lung, and it goes to the left atrium through left pulmonary veins, 4 left pulmonary veins. Okay, and it further goes to the left ventricle, and it finally pumped to the systemic circulation by this left ventricle. Okay, this is the pulmonary circulation, and the respiratory zone is supplied by this pulmonary circulation. Means the oxygen demand for this respiratory zone is filled by pulmonary circulation. Okay. Next, there is one more type of circulation in the lung, that is bronchial circulation. Okay, bronchial. The both type of circulation is there. This is pulmonary circulation, in which pulmonary artery is carrying deoxygenated from the right ventricle, and this is the alveolus, and from this alveolus it goes to the left heart through pulmonary vein. Through pulmonary vein it goes to the left heart. This is the pulmonary circulation. Okay, there is another circulation that is called bronchial artery. This bronchial artery originates from the descending aorta, and it gives oxygenated blood to the respiratory zone structures. Okay, now this respiratory, there is anastomosis between this bronchopulmonary structures. This is the bronchial artery, this is the pulmonary artery, and there is an anastomosis between this bronchopulmonary structure, but it is not clinically significant because it is this anastomosis is not much enough to create any clinical significance. Okay, now this bronchial artery goes to the this area, and deoxygenated blood goes through this bronchopulmonary vein to the pulmonary vein. Okay, some part of this deoxygenated blood from this bronchial artery goes to this pulmonary vein. Okay, that is why the oxygen tension of this pulmonary vein, it should be 100%, but it is 97%. The oxygen tension in this the pulmonary vein is 97% because of mingling of deoxygenated blood from this bronchopulmonary vein. This is also known as a physiological shunt. It is also known as a physiological shunt. Physiological shunt. Okay, means this shunt is there in which mixing of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood occurs, but it does not cause any significant physiological event in this anastomosis. Okay, and the bronchial artery is drained by bronchial vein, which ultimately drains in agitus vein, and it goes to the right heart with the other venous blood. Okay, so there are two types of circulation: pulmonary circulation and bronchial circulation, by which they get the lung parenchymal cell get their nutrition. Now the functions of respiratory system. The function of respiratory system can be divided broadly in two parts: respiratory function and non-respiratory function. Okay, in respiratory function, first is gas exchange, in which O2 is taken up and CO2 is getting out of the body. O2 is taken up by the lung and CO2 is removed out from the body. Okay, and the second function is pH balance. pH balance means it is a regulation of pH is done by this respiratory system. By regulating the amount of carbon dioxide present in the body, it will reduces the or influence the amount of bicarbonate ion in the plasma. So that is why it regulates the pH inside the body. These are the two respiratory functions. First is gaseous exchange, second is pH balance. Okay, and in non-respiratory function, first it work as reservoir for left ventricular filling. Okay, it works as a reservoir for the left ventricular filling. Okay, the cardiac output from the right ventricle goes to the pulmonary circulation, and this pulmonary circulation can accommodate 500 ml of blood approximately, and this whole blood is available for filling inside the left ventricle. So it works as a reservoir for the left ventricular filling. Second, remove emboli. Okay, it also removes macroemboli. Venous blood is mixed with the macroemboli, and these macroemboli clots, and these are removed by this pulmonary circulation, and it does not allow this emboli to go inside the systemic circulation. So it prevents the tissue damage from emboli in the systemic circulation. Okay, third one is it work for olfaction. Olfactory function, it depends upon this respiratory function, because it through this airway only odorants are delivered to the olfactory epithelium. Okay. Third, it has fourth, endocrine function. Endocrine function, in which in endocrine function it produces angiotensin converting enzyme, which converts the angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2. Okay, so it has some endocrine functions also. Fifth, defense mechanism. Defense mechanism. In defense mechanism, when any foreign particle which has a diameter of 2 micrometer, it reaches the alveoli, it is phagocytosed by the alveolar macrophages cells. Okay, alveolar macrophages cells are there inside the alveoli, that will phagocytose the foreign particle which comes inside the alveoli. Mostly it is less than the 2 micrometer in diameter. And second thing, one immunoglobulin A. Immunoglobulin A is also present in the bronchial secretion. The mucosal lining which is covering this bronchial epithelium, that secretes immunoglobulin A, which protects it from the infection, and it also works for the integrity of this bronchial epithelium. So it has a non-specific defense mechanism in its non-respiratory function. Okay. success speech. It has a major role in speech because through the movement of air only we are improve our speech. So it is helpful in facilitating speech. Okay. And seventh is metabolic function. Metabolic function. Okay. In which we can see surfactants. Surfactants are synthesized in synthetic functions, since surfactants are synthesized, and some lytic functions are there. Clots are lysed by the local lytic system, and there is production and release of certain chemicals like histamine, calcarines, and prostaglandins. These are synthesized and released in the blood through this cellular structures. Okay. Now, one more thing is there. Eighth function is route for anesthesia. Route for anesthesia. Okay. Oral. Some anesthesia are given, mostly general anesthesia are given through oral route. In which we have seen the definition. It is a process of taking O2 and from the atmosphere and removing CO2 from the body, and there are stages. 4 stages are there: ventilation, transport, exchange, and tissue stages. Then these are the component of respiratory system: nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and alveoli. In this alveoli is the main functional unit for gases exchange. And these are the upper respiratory tract, which start with the external nares to the vocal cord. Then these are the lower respiratory tract, which start with the vocal cord to the alveoli. And these are the tracheobronchial tree, means it is a division from the trachea to the alveoli. It gets branched in a smaller diameter ducts, and ultimately it forms a alveolus, which is the main site of gases exchange. Then these are the tracheobronchial tree, the branching in different generation. Up to the 16th generation, it is conducting zone, means no air exchange takes place in conducting zone, and from the respiratory zone, which starts from the 17th generation to the 23rd generation, gases exchange takes place. Then these are the histological picture, in which 2 type of pneumonocytes are there. Type 1, which forms the alveolar capillary membrane. Second, type 2, in which surfactant, which produces surfactant, and there apart from this, macrophages are also there. Then next, this is the nerve innervation of lung, which is having both type of sympathetic nerve innervation and parasympathetic nerve innervation. In sympathetic innervation, bronchodilation occurs, and parasympathetic nerve innervation, that is bronchoconstriction occurs. Okay. And apart from this, there is another type of nerve innervation in which is non-adrenergic and non-cholinergic type of nerve innervation, which is mediated by the VIP, that causes bronchodilation. Then pulmonary circulation, in which we have seen that the venous blood coming from the right atrium to the right ventricle, which is pumped into the 2 lungs, and it is oxygenated there, and oxygenated blood are carried to the left atrium through these 2 veins, right pulmonary veins and left pulmonary veins, and it is further pumped to the systemic circulation by the left ventricle. Finally, then these are the bronchial circulation, in which the bronchial artery provides oxygenated blood to the lung parenchyma, and half of the venous blood is draining into the azygous vein, and half it goes to the pulmonary vein through bronchopulmonary vein. At this stage, mixing of oxygenated and non-oxygenated, deoxygenated blood takes place, but it is not clinically significant because it is very less entitled to be significant clinically. Okay, then so these are the functions of a respiratory system. First, we divide it in respiratory function and non-respiratory function. Gas exchange and pH balance is respiratory function. Then in non-respiratory function, it works as a reservoir for the left ventricular filling. Second, it removes emboli, macroemboli. Third, it works for olfaction. Fourth, endocrine function, in which it produces angiotensin converting enzyme. And fifth, defense mechanism, in which alveolar macrophages and immunoglobulin A is present in the system, which protect from foreign particle. Now, speech, it has an important role in the speech, and in metabolic functions, there surfactants are synthesized, and some lytic functions are also there, and some chemicals are produced and released in the blood by this system. Then it also work as a route for anesthesia. Okay, thank you.